Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Apologies for this review getting out so late. I was finishing up watching this. I finished up watching it, and then I was watching some reviews, and then those WWE releases happened. So I started focusing on those, and then realized, hey, I need to get this review done. So here I am, many couple hours later than I should have been. But I know this movie pretty well. It's Nightmare on Elm Street 3. The Dream Warriors ain't gonna dream no more. That's right. The Dream Warriors, the rock and roll one, before it was rock and roll. Because they call the fourth one the MTV Generation Freddy. But, yeah, so after they screwed the pooch on the second one, I mean, it made money, but the reviews were not so good. So they're like, okay, Bob Shaye's like, okay, let's get Wes back. Let's get him to do it. Wes says, I will not direct this movie, but I will write it. So he wrote the movie. So he wrote the script. He turned it in. They said, that's good, but I'm going to bring these two other guys in and rewrite it. I'll never get... I mean, Craven's concept was a little bit too much. It was very dark and cerebral, sure. But I'll never get how people will say, we want you to come in and write this movie. And then they write the movie. And then they look at it and they go, that's good. But we're bringing in these two to help fix it up. Why did you ask me to write this if you weren't going to take what I wrote? Right? I know it's always a proof of concept. It's always an idea of, you write it for us and we'll take a look at it. And if we like it, we'll use it. But you specifically commissioned him to write a sequel for Nightmare on Elm Street. And you're like, okay, we're bringing in Frank Darabont and Chuck Russell, who would end up directing, to rewrite this and and they shaped it into what we know as Dream Warriors. But other ideas, like Freddy had an idea for something called Freddy's Funhouse. John Saxon had an idea for a prequel, which they did do a prequel of sorts for the Freddy's Nightmares TV series. But, yeah. And yes, Robert Englund was back again after. They almost didn't use him for the second film. I forgot to mention this in my last review. But they originally didn't want to bring back Robert Englund because he wanted too much money. So they were going to use a random stunt guy to play Freddy and then realized, oh, this sucks. And paid Robert Englund what they wanted. So they knew they needed Robert Englund to keep going. So he's here. Which the idea was that Robert Englund said this could be his final one and they can cast whoever afterwards. They wanted him to be, he wanted to be like old and gray. But then they came up with he's superpowered now because of the souls he's absorbing for killing all these kids, which never actually made too much sense to me, but I get it. I love this movie. I thought of something while watching this that kind of... It's still my favorite one. Spoiler alert for my ranking, but I still love this movie. But yeah, for all these are the Dream Warriors that are going to take on Freddy, they don't really go through with that because Wes Craven originally signed on to write this as it would be the last one, but you know it wasn't going to be the last one. If it made Boku Bucks, which it did, it was going to keep going. And, Mr. Bob Shaye, the man that could cut of the Mustafa Akkad of this franchise, wouldn't let it die without a little teaser at the end, because, of course, he's gone, but we can bring him back. And just to say it now, because it gets long in the tooth, all these several ways they figure out to find Freddy, it gets very, exhausting when they just keep, this is how you defeat him. He's back in the next one. This is how you defeat him. He's back in the next one. This is how you defeat him. He's back in the next one. And then they finally defeat him very similarly to the first one, but not really. It's definitive. But after all these, we're going to defeat him this way. It gets repetitive to the point where, why don't you come up with, this is how we defeat him, and actually have him defeated, instead of saying it is, but saying, oh, it made money, so let's make another one. Now this is how he's defeated. Oh, we made money? Let's make another one. Now this is how he's defeated. Oh, we made more money? Then this is how he's, you know what I'm saying? It gets a little bit annoying when I have to come up with the new ones, which is probably why they ended the way they did, because the way they came up with actually defeating him, kind of stupid. But anyway, so yeah. And we got some, famous actors before they were famous, really. Heather Langenkamp comes back. We also have Larry Fishburne, who I have stuck to calling him Larry Fishburne through any movie I cover with him, because I like that name, Larry Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne, if you don't know. What if I told you you were in a dream? Yeah, Larry Fishburne, who doesn't do jack shit, yet retroactively, like McConaughey and Zellweger in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation, he has been put on covers for this movie. I think he's in like the streaming tab, his face is on it. And it's like, but he's barely in this movie. He's not even really a character. He's Max, the orderly, who doesn't do shit. Craig Wasson, who was in Body Double, which, did I cover that? Or did I know I did Dress to Kill. I don't know if I did Body Double. Maybe I didn't. I know I did Dress to Kill. I don't think I did Body Double. But he's in Body Double. Is that I think of his name now. He directed Carrie. It's not Coppola. It's can't think of it. But anyway, you're screaming at me. I know you are. But yeah, he was in that, which I don't think I did that one, because I don't remember seeing it, but I know about it. But, so he's Dr. Neil Gordon. That's right. He's Dr. Gordon. I'm gonna kill husband now, Mrs. Gordon. My name is Neil Gordon. I'm a doctor. At least he doesn't break. He doesn't have an accent to break. But does that use up, you bastard? Gee, Dr. Gordon, I know you're British. I don't know where. But, yeah, he's one of the protagonists. Patricia Arquette, before she was famous, she's in this as Kristen or Kirsten. She messes up her name in one scene and they never fixed it. Kirsten? It's Kristen. And her mom is played by the actual mother of the actress in a movie I've covered, and it should have been out today. The revisited of Friday the 13th Part 5. She's the one that's dancing when Freddy kills her, or stabs a pillow, which is what it is. But, not Freddy. Jason! Sorry, Jason. Didn't mean to invoke you. But, yeah. So yeah, and it takes place in a mental institution, which is Weston Hills, which would be brought back in Freddy vs. Jason, which is the only thing that connects this besides some of the flashbacks to Freddy's backstory and that. And the whole opening. Really. But, yeah. So let's get into it. So we start with Into the Fire. Into the fire. We meet Kristen, who is trying to stay awake because, much like Nancy, she's figured out something. She's had nightmares. She's building a house, and it's the Elm Street house, which is Nancy's house, we know. And she's building it with paper mache. I know you probably expected a Seinfeld joke, but I don't know Seinfeld that much. I only know that joke because of Tony from Hack the Movies, but I don't remember. Machio? Paper mache? Machio? I don't know. Paper mache, and she's drinking Diet Coke to stay awake. I think it's also like stay awake pills or something, caffeine pills, but like, if you want caffeine to stay awake, don't drink diet soda. It doesn't work that way. Because, yeah, there's caffeine in it, sure. But whatever the artificial sweetener it is, it's not real sugar. The real sugar plus the caffeine is what keeps you awake and keeps you going. The artificial sweetener, it's going to battle that caffeine. It's not going to work. Trust me, I tried. I mean, I'll drink a soda. If I drink a soda past 3 o'clock, it's hard for me to get to sleep. But it's not like I'm constantly awake. I will fall asleep again suddenly. I will fall asleep eventually. I can speak English. You need something better than that. You need sugar and caffeine. You know, like an energy drink or something, which they did have energy drinks in the 80s that they weren't that big yet, but if this came out right now, she'd be drinking a Red Bull. I'll just say. Just saying. Now, if it came out now, she'd be drinking Prime. Fucking Prime. Anyway, so yeah, her mom comes in and she's all pissed. What are you doing up so late? Listening to music. She's got a boyfriend. This mirrors the Tina scene from the first one, and which makes you think that Wes wrote this part. This was in Wes's original. I don't know. Original version, but that's it. Just what it. I don't know. It feels very much like that. Cause you got the guy down there. Hey, where's the bourbon? I'll be down in a minute. And, you know, whole thing. So then she puts her to bed. She goes to sleep. She has a dream, and yeah, Freddy comes after her, but she wakes up. She gets the. Is it she go in the house here? That's later. But she seems to wake up, but then Freddy attacks her from the faucet, and slashes her wrist. But then it turns out that she has the she has the razor blade in her hand, and she did it, or Freddie made it look like she did it. So I know some people will complain, you don't do it like this, you do it like this. Honestly, I'm not one of those that cuss themselves. I never have been. I dated someone who did, and I hated when she did that. Honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. You're slitting your wrists. Whether it's this way or this way, you're still going to bleed out. People say, oh, it doesn't work that way. Yes, it will. You're freaking, if you cut your veins right here, you cut the vein. Doesn't matter which way you're cutting. It will bleed out because you're cutting the fucking vein. And I'm not trying to give a tutorial to anyone, so don't get twisted. I'm just saying, people are like, oh, it only works this way. No, it doesn't. You cut anywhere on your skin, you will bleed. It just depends on where you cut it. But yeah, because of this, she's sent to the hospital at St. Illness. Drake and Josh joke there. Weston Hills. Where we meet our colorful characters. We get Philip, who likes puppets. Wonder how he's gonna die. We meet Will, who's into the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but they can't call it that. Taryn, who is a drug addict. Joey, who does not speak. And Kincaid, who has an attitude problem. And is one of my favorite characters in this movie. And Jennifer, who likes to burn herself with lit cigarettes. I've accidentally been hit with a lit cigarette a couple times because I swing my arms and then it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. I've burned my hands too because I'm an idiot. Put my hand on the burner to check and see if it was on instead of my hand over it like this. And then like this and then yeah. But yeah. We don't get introduced by name really yet, but it's everyone, right? Yeah. So, and we're told we meet Dr. Neil Gordon, who is the hair. I don't know where the hair came from. I don't have any. My eyebrows are also, but anyway, I shaved them. I thought I took out skin. That was just plaque. I really didn't bite that hard. It's not what she said. My brain's a little foggy. I wanted to do more than this one tonight, but I don't think I will. It's 9 o'clock right now, so Central Time. But anyway, so he's, talking to the people there, and he's told by Nurse Bitch, which, yes, will be her name, because she is a bitch. She is played by the late Priscilla Pointer, who just passed away at 100 freaking years old. Way to go for you, lady. God damn. She made it. She was old here. So, god damn. Yes, congratulations to her. And no disrespect to her. She plays a great bitchy character in this movie. Because she has to be one of those characters that no matter what anyone says, no, you're wrong and it's this, and this. At one point she suggests that it's like their hormones that is causing them to have these nightmares. And I love Kincaid's response, oh great, so now it's my dick that's killing me. Lady, why don't you stop blowing smoke up our ass? I love Kincaid. I really is my favorite character here. So we're reintroduced to Nancy. So I have a question. What's the timeline for this movie? Is it taking place in continuity with the second one? Because if it is, it might make a little more sense with Nancy. But, so, in the first film, it's established that Nancy and her friends are 15 years old. Though Rod looks 30. But they're 15 years old. Right? So, that means that if we are going with continuity, and there's a 5-year time jump between the first one and the second one, which puts it in 89. So, if we are then jumping that this is, what? A year later? Or if we are going the 3 more years in between 85, 86, 87, the 2 years in between, so that would make it 91, right? 1991, even though it's very 80s out. He was 87, the year of my birth. But, so, if we're doing the 5-year time jump between the first and the second one, then Nancy would be 20. Right? 'Cause she was 15, 5. She'd be 20, and then the 2 years afterwards would be 22 years old. She'd be 22, 23 years old, give and take. So, is that enough time for her to be a psychologist? Because I hear you got to do a lot. My supervisor's son is trying to be a goddamn doctor, and he went to 4 years of regular college, and he's got to go to 2 or 4 more years of medical college to become a doctor. And she's just a psychologist at 22, 23 years old. I don't know. But if you go where, it's not, the 5-year time jump is not there, and she is 15, and you do it's just 4 years after the first one, that puts her at 19. So, that also doesn't make any sense. And she's dressing and behaving very adult-like she's older than that, because Heather Langenkamp was older than that. She was 19 when she did the first one, so by this point, 4 years later, she'd be 24 or 25-ish. She'd be around that age. Right? 4 years, no, this is 87, that's 3 years later, right? So she'd be 22 at this point, dressing like she's older, because she has to be? I don't know. No, she was 19, and it's only 85, 86, 87. It's only 1987, so yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. But she's there, and she meets all the other characters, and then she meets Kirsten, and she says the little Freddy thing, and she comes in, she's like, 9, 10, Never Sleep Again. I'm 20 minutes into this thing and I'm barely into the movie. Uh, uh, and so they established, this is establishing a connection. A connection has been established. So that night they are going to sleep. So apparently Kristen was fine till they tried to date her, which makes sense. But okay, so here's my question. This lady, Dr. Bitch, she's obviously not listening to these people. If they're all saying they're having a dream about the same person, and all she could do is dismiss it, like, oh, it's like a shared paranoia or a shared psychosis or something like that. And it's like, no, they are specifically telling you they are dreaming about this same guy. Doctors would look more into this instead of just ignoring it. They have to have that character who ignores everything, or the plot can't go to where it needs to go. Because if she believed them and looked into it, it wouldn't go exactly where they wanted to go. So Kristen has another dream that night and ends up in Freddy's house. Is this where she runs with the little girl and it turns into a skeleton? You're hurting me. But Freddy turns into a giant penis. Well, no, it's a giant snake type creature. But the original painting of it was more skin flesh colored and it looked like a giant penis, so they had to color it reddish to make it look better. But yeah, she's attacked by it and she calls for Nancy because even though Kristen never actually mentions this as her dream power later, her main dream power is to bring other people into her dreams. Yeah. Because you need a power for that, otherwise it won't work that way. Oh wait, Freddy's dad says other way. Freddy's dad says otherwise. Oh, that really hurt. No. So Nancy comes in and she stabs the snake thing, and that's when he's like, you. Oh my God. Why are you so surprised? She said the Freddy song thing. Hello? Yes? And then they wake up. And so now she's determined to save these kids, and she wants Neil to prescribe them Hypnocil. That it's a dream suppressant. She takes it. So then when he talks to Nurse Bitch, he's like, it's a dream suppressant. I know what it is, but I can't believe you're suggesting it. It's an experimental drug. Sure, I get that. But then when things go wrong, she blames it on the Hypnocil and gets Neil fired. Bullshit. And if they actually were prescribing Hypnocil, they wouldn't have been in a dream to begin with. So, they want to prescribe Hypnocil, and she's like, I gotta run it through the thing. But they never actually show them giving out the Hypnocil to the kids. And they do this scene for the all-together group dream scene. And then Joey gets taken by Freddy. And they blame it on Neil for suggesting the Hypnocil. But they haven't even given out to the patients yet. Because if they were on Hypnocil, they wouldn't have dreams. So what? How can she blame? I know he put his job on the line, but that is for the use of Hypnocil. If anything goes wrong with the Hypnocil, his job's on the line. But since they didn't fucking use it, how does he get fired? By the way, I missed a death. Probably one of the most famous deaths in this. Jennifer. She's in there watching Dick Cavett for some reason. Did he have a show in 1987? I don't know. And Dick Cavett is interviewing Zsa Zsa Gabor because Dick Cavett was asked, what celebrity would you want to kill? And he said Zsa Zsa. So that's what it is. He turns into Freddy. He kills Zsa Zsa off screen, of course. And then he turns into the TV. This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. And then a nice Robert Englund ad-lib. Welcome to prime time, bitch. I love how Max finds her. Oh, I forgot Philip's death too. I'm going a little farther in this, but Philip's the first one to die. It's a puppet death. It looks pretty cool. They call that a suicide. And then they have to call Jennifer's also a suicide. How the hell do you do that yourself? How the hell is that unaliving yourself? How? Seriously. How? She's face first into the TV. That is impossible. Maybe something nowadays, one of these ones would be easier to do, but those old box style TVs, hell no. You know how hard those screens are? Right? I bumped my head on those as a kid all the time. It's like, boom. No, there's no way you could physically do it yourself. You have to have somebody. I don't know if it's even physically possible. Other than Stu getting crushed by the TV and Scream, which I still don't think that would even be possible either. I think it would just land on him. It wouldn't break like that. I don't know. But yeah, so with 2 students dead, then that's when he prescribes a hit in the cell. And I want to get in a conversation early, I guess. Then they do the group thing, and that happens to Joey because Joey's one weakness is titties. As is every man's, I'm sure. Well, every straight man's weakness. Yeah. And this is the first time we get nudity in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Besides the stunt boobs that were quickly shown for Heather Langenkamp in the first one, this is really... And you get what's-her-face's cleavage in the second one, but this is full nudity. She takes it off, we see the tits, everything. Right? So, yeah, and then Joey is stuck in a dream, so they gotta go and rescue her. So they decide to come together right now over me. No, they decide they have to try to stop Freddy, and so there's only one man alone. No, this isn't Transformers 2. There's only one man who can help them, and he's getting drunk at a bar right now. That's right. John Saxon as Lieutenant Thompson. I don't know his first name. And so she and Neil got to talk to him, and he's like, no, Fred Krueger is dead. He's dead. And this is when I help him tell, they page Neil, because pagers were a thing. It's the hospital, and it's the patients. They somehow have his beeper number, and Taryn answers and says, hey, they put Kristen in the no-no room or whatever it's called, and they sedated her, and that's not good. So Nancy goes back to the hospital. Well, Neil convinces Lieutenant Thompson to take him to where Freddy's body is buried. By the way, I forgot to mention that. So Jennifer gets a funeral. Philip doesn't. But at Jennifer's funeral, he's been seeing this nun around, Sister Mary Helena. And she tells him that the only way to stop Krueger is to bury him on hollow ground. Which Neil's like, I believe in science. I don't believe in God. I believe in science. Naturally reverence there. But he's going to give this a try. So he and Lieutenant Thompson go to, I don't remember his name. It's not John. It's Jack. I don't know. They go to find Freddy's remains at a junkyard. Because that's where I would bury them. It's just inside a car. It's not buried. They just put it inside of a car. A trunk. Okay. While the others confront Freddy in a dreamland. And this is where I have my biggest problem. Because the whole concept of this is these kids are going to band together to fight Freddy. And as soon as they go to do that, you separate them. And they get picked off one by one. What is the point of doing a movie where you say they're going to stand together to fight Freddy, and then he just picks them off one by one? He kills Taryn. Let's get high. He kills Will, the wizard master, and then the others come together. And it's not even that beats him. Because they try to defeat him. Joey gets his superpower of, that only works once, because you think every time he talks it would do that. It's like, no! And it shatters the mirrors. But it only works once because he talks after that just fine without it going off. And by the way, it doesn't even try to use strength in the next one. No. And, it's over, And so, Freddy cheats. Okay, I'll say it. He fucking cheats. Because he's supposed to be only in a dream world, and they made a big deal. Even Wes Craven has stated, I know he didn't write this whole thing, that he hated the fact that they didn't follow the rules in the second one. They don't follow the rules here. Because he's somehow, and you can say, oh, but is his skeleton. Bullshit. Just bullshit. He's somehow able to go into his old body, his skeleton, which also has the blades for some reason. He didn't have the glove with him. Marge had it, remember? How does he have the blades on his hands? And he kills Lieutenant Thompson and attacks Neil, but Neil doesn't die because we need Neil Ex Machina to save the day. So they think it's over because Joey did the scream thing. But then you see Lieutenant Thompson's ghost, but psych! It's Freddy. He kills Nancy for really no reason. There's really no point to it. I heard a rumor that Heather Langenkamp wanted to die so she didn't have to come back for another one. I don't know how true that is. I always felt this was kind of a dumb ending. Like, you ever go through all this stuff? Why not have her survive and, have to cope with her father's death? No, just kill her off. Sure. And she's, dancing around with Kruger, fighting him or whatever. She's, while Neil... It distracts him while Neil is able to get back to where the body is. He knocks the bones into the thing, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And it works. It shows him. However, it wouldn't work. Because Neil does not believe in God. And no amount of, you have to believe it for it to work. You don't believe what you're saying, you have to believe it. Even if he does believe it, I don't know. Don't you have to be ordained or some shit? But I guess it works. It works. He also has to get his wallet back. He gives it. Wait, was he driving? Because he gives his driver license to the priest as collateral for coming back. What would he do when he came back? Replace the water? I guess you just fill it with regular water and the priest goes like this and blesses it and it's holy water, right? Would you have to dump out the whole thing and then replace it completely to do it? Or because we put regular water with holy water, contaminate? I guess we just did that. I don't know. I'm not savvy with church stuff. But yeah, Nancy's dead and they're... Yeah. Something I noticed, though, at Nancy's funeral, Joey has his arm around Kincaid and is going like this, patting him. Like it's really bothering Kincaid that she died, even though he barely knew her. Or they could have just said, hey, you have to act like you're supportive or something. I don't know. And Neil sees the nun again. And we find out that it's actually Freddy Krueger's mother, Amanda Krueger. Because we get the backstory that Amanda Krueger was working in the nut house, the insane asylum. She got locked in with a bunch of prisoners and was sexually assaulted over 100 times. And Freddy Krueger is the bastard son of 100 maniacs. Bullshit. That's not how it works. It's like that Domingo sketch on SNL. You know those Domingo sketches. You love them. You know them. You love them. But there's one where, because it's at some kind of dinner party for this couple, Matt and Kelsey, and it's revealed that Kelsey's pregnant. But then you're like, oh, it's this. Of course, the twist gonna be it's Domingo's baby. They're like, actually, no, it's twins, and one is Domingo's and one is Matt's. That's not how that works. And they're saying that, oh, bastard son of 100 maniacs. They all somehow contributed sperm to create Freddy, and that's why he's so fucked up. No, that's not how procreation works. It's one sperm, one egg. That's how it works. You can't just have a bunch of sperms go to one egg and go, ooh. Because, you know, we've seen Freddy when he's human. He looks pretty freaking normal. Looks like Robert Englund, actually. I wonder why. So why, if it was a bunch of sperms on one egg all together, he'd be fucked up. He'd be a mongoloid like Jason or some shit. Maybe Jason's the bastard. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, this is Amanda Kruger. She was his mother. Yeah. And then we end with Neil going to sleep. And then he has Kristen's little house for some reason. And the light turns on, signifying Freddy's not dead yet. We still want to make more money off of this. Yeah. And then we get the Dream Warrior song at the end. Bam, bam, bam. Dun, 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 dun. Watch that music video. It's a fun video. It ends up being Freddy's nightmare. Oh, what a nightmare. Yeah. Also, I didn't mention this in the first one. Freddy's voice it's normal and then it gets modulated. There are some of these that are also like in this where it's not modulated, but then most of it is. Let's get high. And this goes to the moon. I have a few issues, but none of it deteriorates my enjoyment of this movie. Or hinders the enjoyment of this movie. So, yeah, this one goes to the moon like the first one. And I like it better than the first one. It's got that... It's got a definitive ending for the most part, even though I don't like that Nancy dies. He is definitively defeated, at least at this time. Not just, I don't believe you anymore. It doesn't even make sense that Nancy can come back because for all intents and purposes, the ending that was tacked on to the first one shows that she died. And in the second one, they say that she was missing or disappeared. Well, here she is. She's fine. She apparently went to psychology school all before she's 23. I don't know. So, what are your thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors? Leave no comments below. I'm sure some of you are wondering, hey, I thought you would do a favorite one-liner or your favorite kill. Yeah, I was going to do that, and then I forgot to do it in the first one, and then I was going to start the second one with my favorite kill and one-liner from the first one, and then keep doing it. Then I forgot to do it in that one, so here's what I'm going to do. Bonus video. I'm going to do these reviews, then I'll do my ranking, and then I'll do a video where I do my favorite one-liner and kill from each of the movies. We'll do it that way. We'll do an extra video for that. Because I really wanted to get that out there, but at this point, I don't know. And I've effectively canceled that Chef Boyardee thing because I got all messed up and yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Sky and I'll see you in the next one.